Hey, hi everyone. So today we're finally doing a deep dive of the Cardano CLI for Central Testnet. So I hope you're gonna like it. Let's go.
Okay, so at this point in the video, it's just interesting, because you have different assumptions about what stage people are at. So it's, at this point we can assume people have seen the first video.
You've seen the first video,
They've hopefully built their node.
a part of the second one where I'm showing how to make it as a service. All right, now it's time to play with Cardano command line interface. Woo! First steps. We need to create our payments keys and our stake keys, which I'm going to explain as we go forward. So first, you go into your suite document and we're going to locate the Cardano CLI address branch to the Cardano CLI address keygen. And I'm gonna let you go through the documents if you guys are watching. It pretty much explains the way the brackets works. I'm not going to explain that. So I'll let you do your homeworks if that's what it's called. So
That's
let's
messed up, man. No,
well,
I'm just kidding. It's at the top of the cheat sheet. So,
is it right?
or
Yes.
wait, no, sorry. It's on the yeah, right? That's the you have a
Cardano.
little explanation
Oh,
on the
sorry.
document too.
I did this. Yeah, I did. Right. Okay. Yes. The brackets priority. Well, I could actually read it. Why not? So if you have angle brackets, it defines the type of information you have to provide. Like here, we have an option verification key file. We have to add the name of the file that you want to have. So this is what it's for. The parenthesis, that's for everything that is mandatory or required. If you have square brackets, it's not mandatory, but it's optional. So if you have something to add, and the separator, it basically means or, like for this one, the keys. We can have, it's not mandatory. By default, they're gonna use normal keys, but we can have normal keys or extended keys or parent keys. And we're not even gonna do that. So we'll just mention the verification key and the signing key for our payment keys. So we'll do Cardano CLI address keygen. We'll go down to another line, dash dash, verification key file. How we call it? How do we call it? Payment? Weed something? Weed payment. Weed payment dot vkey. Vkey for verification key. Dash dash and a signing key. Signing key file. Weed payment dot skey for signing key. That's it. So we have our payment keys and our payment verification key. Next, we need our staking keys. So as you go through the process, I believe it's pretty well explained. So now that you have your payment keys, let's create our stake keys. This one is even easier because there is only one type of stake keys. So if you want to find it, it's zoom out. Over here, that branch, Cardano CLI stake address. And the first one at top, Cardano CLI stake address keygen. So we'll type it down, Cardano CLI stake address keygen. Go down to a line, dash dash, and we will mention our verification key file and signing key file for our stake keys. Verification key file. We'll just call it stake.vkey for the verification file, and dash dash signing key file stake.skey or the signing key file. There you go. Oh, I have to switch that. Sudo mod 400. I'll make those keys only readable. With payment V key, with payment S key. All right. So now we have our payment key pairs and our stake key pairs. So, second exercise, we have to create an address for our stake key. Okay. Which is going to be the recipient, if I can call it like that, the recipient of our rewards for staking. So let's do that. You know, in the study sheet document, I've put the the emplacement, if I can call it like that, of the specific branch we're using. And this time we're going to stake address and stake address build, which is right there. Awesome. So as you can see, we have parentheses, so we're forced to use one of those options. And why is it like that? It's mainly because you can play with it. You can have multi-sig keys for withdrawing from your reward address, but I'm not gonna get into that.
That's it. That is interesting. Maybe another video, huh?
Oh yeah, there's so much you can learn from those comments. That's
so much
insane.
content.
That's insane. But I'll try to keep it super simple, okay? And that's already kind of, I don't want it too complicated. So let's create an address from our stake key pairs, or actually from our verification key, because that's all we need. Cardano CLI stake address build. We'll go down line dash dash, and we're going to use, as mentioned, the stake verification key file. Stake verification key file. We have to mention, sorry, the name of the file, which is stake dot, we called it vkey. That's our verification key file. And make sure you're in the directory of that key, or else it won't find it. If it's somewhere else, you can just set the path, it's over there in this file, home dash whatever. All right, next, that's all we need. And what else is mandatory is the network, of course. So the network is the Sancho testnet, which is network magic 4. And we have to mention the name that we want for our address file. Out file, what do we call it? No, actually that's a staking address, so we'll call it stake dot address. And we have our address that we can show to the people, because it's an address, it's public, right? We can share it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Very cool.
This is our stake address. All right, now that's probably one of my favorite parts. Okay, everything I explained is explained here. And next part is we are going to make a payment address that is going to mix or link our verification key of our stacking verification key with our payment verification key. And why do we do that? Because in the staking protocol, when you stake to a stake pool, the calculation of your reward are made from the amount of money you have in your payment address part, right? So you have to match those two together for the protocol to consider the amount of money you have in your wallet for your staking rewards, right?
Got it.
So we have to kind of link the two of them. So for that, we have to go to Cardano CLI address and Cardano CLI address build, which is the document, cheat sheet, CLI address build, right here. We need, of course, that's mandatory, our payment verification key file, or or a script or a string, right? Depending on if you want to have multi-sig key, or like we do have, a single key. So we're going to use Cardano CLI address build, and we're going to mention our payment verification key file, which is weedpayment.vkey. Next line. This is not mandatory, as you can see, square brackets. Why? Because you could simply build an address only from your payment keys and not participate in the staking protocol. You can do that. It's okay. But we don't want to do that. We want to have an address that mix both keys.
Yeah.
So we will mention as well our stake verification key file. And it is our stake.vkey. Stake.vkey. Alright, next line. This is mandatory. The network, of course. Testnet magic 4 or Sancho. And the name of our address file is going to be we.address. There you go. And as you can see, it's longer, right? Because like I said, in it you have your stake and payment address linked. The address is done. All right, so now that we have the address, we need to put fake ADA in it, and that's actually the only thing I can do for today. Wait. Oh, hey, only 11 minutes in the video? No, of course, we're not stopping there. Let's keep going. Hi everyone, here's the rest of where we're at. We're doing CLI stuff, so I'm with Van from Weed Stake Pool. So normally we were supposed to have our keys ready, but since I'm a security paranoiac, I deleted everything. My entire systems. So we'll do it again, I guess. Am I synchronized? Let's see. Sudo journal ctl --unit equal, how do we call it? Sancho -node and follow. That looks good. Just to make sure, we will do our Cardano -CLI query tip, and we want it for the testnet -magic for socket path. Well, that was our problem, right? The socket path. So I don't want to have to write it every time. So what we can do, we could go straight into our text editor in the bash rc file, go down there and add the line export Cardano node socket path equal. So it's in home tutorial Sancho source Cardano node database node.socket. That should do it. So next we do source bash rc, and if I get back to my little command, it should work. Cardano query tip. Yeah!
Success.
So we're fully synchronized. 100%. Okay, I'll put that there.
That's pretty impressive. You had the path memorized first try.
I was lucky.
That was impressive.
It makes me look cool, eh? Right?
Very. Yeah, you definitely planned that. It's like written out in big letters in front of you on note cards.
Yeah. Should I explain it? Because we've done it. It's kind of the same pattern actually. You just have to mention the socket path, so your Cardano node won't have to ask you for it. It will just know where it is.
Right.
So we don't have, well, you don't have to do it, but if you don't, you have to mention it every time you use the Cardano CLI command that requires the node.socket. So
right.
it's getting annoying, but you know,
right.
It's up to the people. So now let's start. We have our payment key pairs ready here. We have our stake key pairs. Here our stake key pairs, our stake address, and our payment address that links the stake key with the payment keys for the stacking protocol. So now what we need to do is we need to get ADA, right? Test ADA. So if I want to know how many ADAs I got in my stake address, which is not stake address, sorry, payment address. Payment.address This is my address, or actually I could just nano it. Nano payment address. So this is my address right there. We're going to copy it and we will go to Sancho.network. I'll move that aside and yeah, I'll do that. There you go. The documentation tab is on the other side. All right. You click on documentation and you look for the Faucet. That's right here. The Faucet is there. And we need some test ADA. So we're going to paste the address that we generated here and mention that we're not a robot. Aren't we? Motorcycle. That should do it, right? Alright.
I would say those are scooters, but I see what it means.
Submit.
There
Alright.
we go. Very nice.
So it should be done. We're going to have 10,000 ADA, which is 10,000 million. Loveless. So let's see if we have those money. All right. So we're back to our interface and we're going to Cardano CLI. What's the command? I don't remember. So I'm going to go into my sweet cheat sheet and look for the query because I want to query something. There it is. Query. And I want to query my UTXO. So here it is. So as we've done before, I don't have to mention the socket pad because I've put it in my -rc file, so I don't have to use it. So let's write down Cardano CLI query UTXO switch line. Okay, so what do we have here? UTXO. This is not required, so I'm not going to use it. Here I have the choice between whole UTXO at the address or transaction in. I could use the one they shared me here, you see?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know with my own address if it worked. So I'm going to use my address. -- address. And I will ask for the result of cat in my payment address. That should do it. What else? The network is required, so we'll type down testnet -magic or Sancho testnet. And well, I don't need a file for that, right? I just want to know if it worked. There you go. Awesome. So we have a UTXO that we're going to use to build our transaction. So now what I want to do, if you guys follow the study sheet, we created our stake address. Creation of the payment with stake address is done. Here we need to query the protocol parameters. So let's do that. So we have to find the query branch, query protocol parameter. Let's find the branch. I'm in the query. I need query protocol parameter and it's here. All right, what's next? I have 6 options, 2 sub options. There's some that are not required. I'm not gonna use them. So I basically just need to mention the testnet and all right, so let's do that. Cardano CLI query protocol parameters. Next line -- testnet magic 4. Next line. So we're gonna call it protocol.json. Oh wait, no, need out file. All right, so let's take a look at it. I know what's coming about that. There's gonna be some governance protocol parameters that you can, through the Cardano CLI and the governance actions, you can modify those. You have to mention which one and the value you want instead of the one that's there, and people can vote on that. But the
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. The main thing we need from those protocol parameters is here, the stake address deposit. As you probably figured, when you create a wallet and the first time you stake to a pool, it costs 2 ADA of deposit, right? So it deposited, it's not going in anyone's pocket, it's going in the, it's gonna get locked in the blockchain. So it's a deposit. We have to calculate it as well with our transaction that we're going to make after. So
All right.
we have the protocol parameters. Actually, everything I'm saying is already mentioned here. That's good for the environment.
Study sheet part 2 here. And then I got the cheat sheet printable.
Nice. The part 2 is really good especially for those who struggle with the KES renewal. Explains it very well. Stake certificate. There it is.
Exercise.
So, exercise 4, we have to make a stake certificate. So we have to find a branch stake address. So we'll find it in the stake address branch. Let's go see it. Stake address branch. It's probably up there. Stake address branch, and we'll look for the stake address registration certificate. There it is. So let's do it. Cardano CLI stake address registration certificate. Dash stake verification key file. That's the stake.b key. So we'll make our certificate, and we will call it stake.cert. There you go. So we have our certificate. We need to register our stake address on the blockchain to be able to delegate our linked address, basically our wallet, to a stake pool or a DREP, of course. So now we have everything we need. Okay, for safety issue, in case you haven't seen it, in every exercise, I always mention where to do it. If you see air gap, you have to do it in your cold environment. If you see hot node, well, you have to do it on the hot node. You can't query the tip on a air gap computer because you need a synchronized chain to query it. But everything else that can be done offline, I like to do it offline, like building my own transaction. And I mean, it's okay if you use, transaction build. It's fine. It's no big deal. You can sign your transaction offline, and actually before signing it, you can verify it. It's just that I like to build everything offline.
Depends on how secure you want to be, really, at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's not like it's just that extra layer of security. Only the paranoid survive.
Yeah. Okay. Like I told you before, we have two options to build our transactions. Here in the Cardano CLI transaction, we have the choice between transaction build raw and the transaction build. And the main difference between these two is that the transaction build can only be done on a hot running node. So it has to be done online. You can only build this transaction online. There's pros and cons. The pros would be it calculates for you it calculates the fee for you. So you put your transaction raw files and all the certificates you need, and it calculates for you the fees. But like I said, it's done online, so you cannot expose your keys, and it's not likely to happen, but someone could play with your transaction while you're building it.
Oh, okay. They'd have to be very motivated, huh?
Yeah, it's really low risk, but let's say you're playing with billions.
Right.
That's definitively something I would like to do offline. So that's why the Cardano CLI transaction build raw can be done offline without a running node. So you can build your transaction offline on your cold environment, not connected to internet, just like a ledger. You can sign those transactions there, and the only thing you're going to put on the hot node is the transaction finally built and signed. So let's presume that my keys are in a safe environment, right? And I want to build my first transaction to...
Which they're not, obviously.
No,
but
clearly not.
For educational purposes.
Right.
Yeah.
The way we've done it right now is totally unsafe. So don't do that on mainnet, okay?
Educational purposes.
Right, yeah. You know what? Actually, I could just take the time to mention it. In the Cardano.org website, you have a great spot to build your own cold environment from Ubuntu, which is pretty nice. And it tells you exactly what to uninstall, how to do it. And in the developer tab, you can see security best practice tab, air gap environment. And if you follow these steps, they're showing you everything you need to know. Also uninstall every kernel that has a link to any kind of networks from that system. Yeah, pretty much. Because all you're going
you make
to
it
need...
forget it that it ever even had internet. I mean, it doesn't even know what the concept of internet is.
That's right, man. But I could put, actually I'll put the link in the comments of the video. It's pretty straightforward. It's a step by step. You just follow it and you can build your own cold environment, which is going to be another computer, my friends.
I didn't know they had that on there.
What's that?
Sorry, yeah, I didn't realize I haven't seen this exact page before. At least not in this form. It looks great.
Oh yeah, it's really cool, man. If you take the time, you can also, like it's mentioned here, install your air gap environment on a persistent USB drive. That's good stuff. I highly recommend it. They also tell you how to build a Franken wallet. Good stuff. Anyway, so that being said, we decided to be totally unsafe on testnet. Let's be unsafe. No, I mean, it's important to mention it because if you guys do that on mainnet, you're gonna be in big trouble, or you're gonna end up having someone else voting for you with your own DREP identity. So could make you look bad, actually. All right, let's build our transaction. We're at 27 minutes timestamp of the first part of the deep dive of the Cardano CLI. I hope you liked it. I'm presently building the part 2 because it's already recorded, so be patient and I'll put it on YouTube as soon as possible. Have a great day.